So why is this laptop called the Creator Edition? Well, because it has almost everything that a creator would love in a laptop at this price range. Now the keyword here is almost. I love this laptop so much, but there are three things that it's lacking which bother me so much, and you need to make sure you stay to the end of the video so that I tell you that before you take any informed decision to purchase this laptop. I would be comparing this laptop a lot to the MacBook Pro simply because it aims to be the major competitor to the MacBook Pro. Now the MacBook Pro is like the gold standard of laptops for performance and efficiency for most people. And when you compare the MSI Z16 Creator Edition to the MacBook Pro, for the i9 version, which runs 32 gigs of RAM and 2 terabytes of SSD, you can get this on Amazon for about $3,000, but for a limited time I saw a deal going for about $2,700, which is really amazing. Whilst if you wanted a MacBook Pro with kind of similar specs, I mean 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte of SSD storage, you're going to pay about $3,500. The version I have though is the 11th gen i7 variant, which comes with 16 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte storage, and that is still cheaper than the MacBook with similar specs. You will get that one for $2,300 today, whilst the similarly spec'd MacBook Pro will cost you $2,700. So are you really saving money by buying the MSI, or are you better off buying a MacBook Pro? Now first of all, let's talk about the box and what you get in the box. In the box, you get your laptop, a Bluetooth mouse, a 180 watts fast charging adapter, and a bag for carrying your laptop, which is just amazing. Design wise, let's take a closer look at the laptop itself. You can see a lot of thought went into the design of the MSI Z16 Creator Edition, because first of all, the screen size is not the normal screen size you're used to. You know, most laptops have like a 16:9 aspect ratio, which translates into a screen size. So for example, here I have the HP EliteBook G6, right? And this has the typical 16:9 aspect ratio, but the MSI Z16 has a 16:10 aspect ratio. So the screen is taller, right? So it means that when you're kind of like editing your videos or, you know, working, creating content, you get more headroom, right? So you can see more of your assets, you can see more of your timeline and all that, which is a really good thing. Plus, if you're playing games, you have like a bigger screen, and if you're consuming content, you also have a bigger screen, which is something that I love so much. Secondly, the laptop is pretty slim, but notwithstanding that, right, it feels very durable. Like in the hands, it feels very durable, and you can trust that like if you drop it, you are still going to pick it up. I also love the fact that it has a fingerprint sensor for unlocking your device and some amazing RGB lights on the keyboard, but more on the RGB keyboard in a minute. Next, let's talk about the display on this laptop. This laptop has a Quad HD Plus display, and the normal ones you buy have 120 Hz fast refresh rate, but the version I'm using has 165 Hz refresh rate, and it's just amazing. It can go all the way to about 1000 nits of peak brightness, so it can become very bright even when you're outdoors. You don't struggle to read what's on the screen. And guess what? It can also go very, very dim. Like when you're in low light conditions, you don't need to strain your eyes, which is really, really amazing. Whereas like this laptop can bend to this angle, right, which is the HP EliteBook, the MSI laptop can actually bend like 180 flat, so that if you are in a conference situation or you're in a room, you don't need to let your partner walk all over to come and see what's on your screen. You just bend it flat and they can see what's on your screen, which is also very amazing. Speaking of what you see, color accuracy on the MSI Z16 is accurate, right? For me as a creator, I always want to be sure that what I'm seeing on my screen is what people are going to see when they go on YouTube or Instagram or any other social media, right? Sometimes if you have a laptop where the color tuning is not accurate, you might be seeing something red, but somebody else will see it, or the whole world will see it, and it might be pink, right? So if you are creating content for your clients, you want to make sure you are using a color accurate screen, and the MSI Z16 has it. Now you get a touchscreen on the i9 version or variant, whilst you get a normal screen on the i7 variant. So I want you to tell me how important like is a touchscreen to you on a laptop, not like on a tablet, but on a laptop. The HP EliteBook also has a touchscreen, but I only use it when I'm scrolling through social media or I'm reading content on like a website or something. So you let me know how important touchscreen is to you in the comments below. Next, I want us to talk about the ports on this laptop. Now the MSI Z16 has a fairly set of limited ports. On the left side, you find a USB-A 3.2 generation 2 port, Thunderbolt 4 USB-C, a headphone jack, and an AC power adapter. On the right side, you have access to one more USB-A port, USB-C, and a micro SD card slot. Did you notice anything was missing when I was talking about the ports? First of all, there was no HDMI port, which is very strange for a laptop which calls itself the Creator Edition, because most creators would want to connect their laptops to an external monitor or to a TV, whatever, but there's no HDMI port. Just blew my mind. Secondly, there's no SD card slot for just taking my card out of my camera and putting it into the laptop, editing off of it, or copying the files, which is super strange. So now let's talk about performance, gaming design, content creation on the MSI Z16. This laptop comes with an RTX 30 series, so you get an RTX 3060, which is really good at gaming, handling graphic intensive or 3D graphic intensive programs like After Effects, Maya, Blender, Cinema 4D. It's able to handle them really well, like modeling. For me, what I use it for was like basic Photoshop, video editing on Premiere Pro, and then After Effects for motion graphics. And it also doesn't overheat when you are, editing content or using it for, processor intensive or graphic intensive tasks. It doesn't overheat at all. The fans are actually located where most speakers are located for mini laptops, right? It's a weird position, but I guess it helps to dissipate the heat so it doesn't really get overheated. And then the speakers on this laptop are actually a quad speaker system, which are very loud, very rich, very clear, and good for entertainment, right? So now let's talk about the RGB keyboard, because that is new. That's very new to me. Like, this is an RGB keyboard with mini LEDs, and you can actually program the individual keys on the keyboard to have different lighting colors and patterns and all that stuff. Like, if you're into those stuff, you're really going to enjoy the MSI Z16, and it's beautiful in the dark and at night and all that. It's really fantastic. So overall, like, it's a good laptop at that price. Has like a big screen, has good speakers, has a great processor, has a great graphics card. Like, it has a lot of good things going for it, but the fact that you don't get an HDMI slot, right, port, you also don't get an SD card slot, and even worse, you don't have like an Ethernet port, right? Yeah, some people don't mind, but I do. Really bothers me.